Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'll play it now.
Okay.
I'm gonna start it now.
3, 2, 1, go.
I'm starting. A new day. The same day. A meaningless echo. A slow crawl. Quiet corruption. Pollutes perception. Unrealized detachment. Threatens the mundane. Blind duty. The silent thief of substance. Presence. The only purpose in this pattern. Love. The only life in this loop.
Very good, thank you. What song is that?
It is Heavenly by Cigarettes After Sex, but it's like the intro loop slowed and repeated.
Nice.
I like it. It resonates with kind of what I was saying earlier. Where I was like realizing like I could go through the day doing everything right, and then maybe like an hour or two before I go home, like, wow, I like ruined my day. I spent the whole day like pessimistic and mad about it. So it is important to like, I don't know if rationalize, but I said take a deep breath before, but I think it is that you need to like, can't be pessimistic or optimistic. I need to relax for a moment and find out. Remember why I'm doing things and why it's hard.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate how you give, because this is a pretty common device in your poems. You give like a statement or kind of a heading for each stanza or line, and give like a brief exposition of that. So the statement is basically the first line of each stanza. Especially near the end, they're very concise, like blind duty, the presence, and then love.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels like you're punctual, but like you're punctual and then you let the paint run a little bit and you can see just a little more into it.
Mm-hmm.
What does 424 mean?
I wrote it.
Hmm?
Gotta read the poem first.
I did.
Yeah, I can explain it later.
I'm asking now.
Yeah.
Let's keep expounding before he explains.
Yeah.
Talk for your thoughts. That's what the time's for. The line unrealized detachment threatens the mundane is interesting to me.
That's what I was just thinking about.
Thinking through that a little bit.
I feel like I get that one. That is just, you know, once you do something as pattern, as tradition, as this is what I do on this day long enough, you have forgotten why you're doing it. And that is going to ruin it.
I see it as, what I see so far of it is actually like almost the opposite, where the unrealized detachment is almost a place you want to be, because mundane is the negative part, and the negative part is being threatened
Okay.
by your detachment.
Yeah, I can see that. It's yeah, you're detaching from the realistic.
But I like how
Puts you a little lofty.
yes, I like how it qualifies it with unrealized, because I don't think it is really true detachment if you are like feeling, oh, I'm detached right now,
Mhm.
and this is what it feels like to be detached. But no, you don't You're not saying that to yourself.
Yeah. It's just like telling yourself, I'm so humble right now. It's like, if you were, you wouldn't have to think that far.
Uh-huh. But maybe Isaac meant it differently because we might be over-interpreting there.
That's funny. I didn't think of it that way. I was kind of thinking it in the opposite way, which I don't.
Yeah.
Now I see it both ways, which was like
Yeah.
love being something that we overuse so much, or like when we say it, like how it kind of loses its meaning if you use it too much, and how it really has a deeper meaning. But that I could be off. That's just what I initially thought. But now I see it both ways.
The reason I feel like my interpretation might actually be a bit off is because it doesn't make sense where it is in the poem. Because everything is kind of a bit dreary in the first part, and so that would kind of be an outstanding positive note in what is a kind of a rhythm of dreariness. Until you get to the end of the poem where there's like some resolution.
I think having the benefit of seeing all the other versions of the poem, you can kind of see the thread that he's kept and tried to revise the ending of, which I think you finally settled on. I think this is your best ending.
Is that what you were ending on? Was the ending?
Manly.
Yeah, there's been minor changes here and there, but the ending was, from what I remember, most of it's changed. But I think I kind of had an experience, or most days I have this experience, but I think it's yesterday I was driving to the bank and whatnot, and I was very worried about being late the entire time because there were so many hiccups and traffic and lines and all of the things. And as I was on that final straight going from town to Granny's, I in my whirling haze of not wanting to be late, I witnessed like a bunch of cars in this line all passing each other over and over again, and I realized, man, it's actually how everybody is.
That's fun.
Everybody is so focused on not being late, on getting to the next thing, on moving forward. I don't think anybody's ever actually present where they are.
Yeah.
I pondered on that a little bit because I realized so much of my days are defined on getting something done in time for the next thing. I have to finish this homework assignment so that I can make it to work, to finish this exercise so that I can make it to this dinner, and grading this so I can move on to that. It's just every single thing is done in haste and with the next thing in mind, and nothing has the mindfulness to actually devote to the moment.
It's funny because I think we actually have to get through both sides of that. The first side we usually experience is I'm not paying attention enough to responsibility, so I feel like I'm too disconnected, and then people get on to me about it, and I face the consequences of that. And then we finally, when we grow up a little bit, we start to take on the pressures of responsibility and schedule and how that actually is connected to other people's lives. Other people depend on us and expect certain things of us. And then we get too caught up in this, and that's kind of moving into what Jade's describing there. Everybody's kind of rushing to the next thing. They're getting one thing done so they can move on to the next thing, and then the pattern repeats there. And people will, I think, make comments on both, saying, you need to get out of this way of thinking so that you can be a more responsible person. But then once you kind of start to get there, you're over pressured by things, and then there will be like a counter narrative that says, actually, no, you need to slow down, you need to accept the present moment, you need to not be so wrapped up. But you have to go through both things is what I'm saying. I think that's what you should really be encouraged by, is you have to grapple with both difficulties until you eventually arrive at the place of finding a balanced flow of life. And sometimes it takes a while to get there.
I think that's a good example of what you said earlier about, the waves of life will bring you up.
I was just kind of thinking with that, yeah.
But having the attitude you have just described is what allows you clarity in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think society, the job market, business has a lot of that. Like paraphrasing from something I read online, but it's like, you need to wake up at 7, not because you want to, because you need to get your car good or get on the bus by 8, because you need to be at work by 9, because the work needs to be open by at least 9:30. And you will keep chasing that for fear of, if I missed one thing, the rest is going to just disappear. It's going to completely fall apart. That keeps you from, and as Jen said, it's like seeing everyone dashing between cars, a moment of realization of just everyone's doing this.
I feel like the line in Isaac's poem that we're expounding on with this part of the conversation is, which one do you think? You're seeing this thing against me.
A new day, the same day, but I don't know what you're thinking.
I'm thinking of blind duty, the silent thief of substance.
That too.
Yeah.
So what these two different phases that we go through, the way that they're often categorized is like thinking like a child versus thinking like an adult. You know what I'm talking about? The child's more, I don't really have any responsibility, I don't really have any schedule, or nobody really depends on me for anything. And then the adult is like the complete opposite of all of that. And both are missing something. Both are too far on the end.
Having merit, the other is not.
Yeah.
No, it is very hard, but it'd be very wonderful in life if you can take on responsibility. You can be, walk in, do this, do that, but can stay young at heart. You will gain immeasurable in life.
Yeah, I think that's something that I have realized within myself, and that this poem reminds me of, is that I think that was one of the things I always appreciated just about myself. That's a weird thing to say, but I felt in a way closer to the childlike ways of operating just in my own head. And I've realized that it's more and more, it's not necessarily work, because it's not necessarily like it's like more is on my shoulders in terms of the weight of the responsibility, not necessarily the number of things, but more of what is expected.
Yeah. The importance of the thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is what starts to kill that child in you.
Yeah, it's not about being always occupied. It's about, this is really important. You're starting to forget, I'm doing this, or why we're doing this. You're just thinking, I need to do this. The absolutes are very adult versus the kid where it's like, I feel like having a sandwich now. He's not hungry. It's not, I need to eat something because I have to go to work, because I have to do this. He's hungry and he's going to eat.
Yeah, I think the reason I most appreciate this ending, as far as the others, I think it gets that same message down, just with being a little more clear as your original line, the with, because I think really that's the only thing that genuinely gets me through those days. We talk about it all the time, and I know you make fun of me for it, but I absolutely despise the a new day, the same day, the endless echo, the void of work over and over. You work, and then the next day you work, and the next day you work. I'm like allergic to it. And I'm being very obviously pushed by the Lord in that direction, because it's probably good for me. But I think the only thing that gets me through it is having the mindset of His presence. I mean, on that yesterday, what I was so appreciative of with having that random spur of mindfulness was just using it as an opportunity to reconnect. I think very similarly to that quiet corruption pollutes perception. I think the inverse is very true. I think the way that you can alter your mindset to go through things changes your reality. And I think when you let business seep into your mind and heart, that is when it truly becomes this belligerent duty.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of word for it.
I think similar to what you were saying, Corbin, with being able to outwardly meet all of the responsibilities, but inwardly able to keep something connected with him, something that is personal and mindful, and I guess in a way unaffected by outward circumstance. I think that actually is perfectly summarized with the lines you chose. It is the only purpose you can find in the mundane pattern. It is the only life you can sometimes find when you feel like you're stuck in a loop. So, I think you've landed on the correct verbiage there, at least for me. I think that just adding to that end line, I think it's easy to interpret it both lines in the context of the Lord's presence in your heart and mind and the love that you share with Him. But I think at the same time, it can also be applied to the relationships that you have in your life. And I think that's something I've really personally been finding the most satisfaction in. It is, in one sense, easier and also at the same time a little isolating to try and put all of your fulfillment on that internal relationship you have with the Lord. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it often won't produce the best things. But when you have presence of mind in your interaction with others, when you have love that you can share with another person, I think those things go hand in hand as well with purpose and life. It's not just your relationship with the Father, it's your relationship with those around you. Man was not meant to do it alone.
Look that down somewhere. Good song choice as well. Like you found this one moment and you're like, this is it. You found like the extended, you found it.
Yeah, I really like this poem. The lines feel very intentional to me, and it gives a very, I don't know, it just feels, I feel like I can relate with it, even though I might not be able to as much as some other people here. But I would like to hear your thoughts on the two lines, unrealized attachment threatens the mundane, because that's the one line that I don't feel as if I'm understanding as well as the rest, as far as the flow of the poem goes.
Yeah, Corbin had the best, or the closest explanation to it of like being disconnected from why you do what you do, and it does become fruitless because it becomes about the thing you're doing instead of who you're doing it with or why you're doing the thing.
Yeah, I've even gotten to that point with rewards before. There was a time where I was like, I should eat like chocolate today. Not because I want to eat chocolate, but it was like, this is like a nice thing. And I told myself I'd get a nice thing. I completely missed the point of even like, no, this is like a treat. I'm supposed to like relax about it. But I was locked in, I was focused. I wasn't breathing.
424, man.
I think that was a Friday. And I just started to kind of see like a very, very established pattern in a lot of my days. I think that Friday was me and Naomi had like 7 boxes of pie to do. And it was, I don't know, it was while I was writing like 424 and all the pie. And it was just the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. And I had done it the Friday before that and Friday before that. And I was just kind of considering like what brings meaning to this, you know? Like God doesn't care about the pie that I'm doing right now, you know? So what is even honoring to his heart when I'm doing this? And what does he care about in what I do? And I really wanted to see his heart even in that. And so it was just kind of a moment of like, yeah, this can very, very easily and has the temptation and tendency to become completely fruitless and even dark and isolating unless you're very careful with the way that you look at things.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, if you lock in, if you focus, if you narrow your view, at the end of the day, you didn't know, yeah, you really did. You narrowed your view. You're not going to see the other things because you're so focused. You might forget the big picture and the reason you've narrowed it in the first place.
Very good title.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, just like Jaden driving and you with 424, I too, like, it's when you're like focused on something, but it takes absolutely zero brain power. The body is entirely vested in what it's doing. I could have anything else going in my mind. That disconnect from what you're doing to what you're thinking, you do come up with a lot of cool thoughts in those moments. It'd be cool if we could have a meeting space like that, but I have no idea how to do that.
Walks, hikes.
I was thinking walks, and there's like a little babbling creek thing over there. We could all just chill at that. That might be harder to record. How do we record any of it? Someone could go pro in the back of the walk.
More microphones.
Oh yeah.
Maybe just.
I've always- My moments like that have always come during like meetings or when I'm reading and I should be focusing on something else. So there's like a outpouring of information that I should be like focused on receiving, but then just like tasting a little bit of it will make my mind want to go off in some other place, and that's when I like think of all these interesting things. But I should be focusing on something else. That's
Yeah, I get on my case for that when it's time to pray a lot. It's like I really want to focus on what they're saying because, you know, as I've said before, like, everyone is a mirror of myself. I find the truth in what a lot of you guys say in those moments. And then like everything else will be going in my head, and I'm kind of like, shut up and listen.
Yeah. Yep. Anyone else? Happy has something. Just trying to get Isaac's eye contact. Thank you very much, Isaac.
Yeah. Who else is left?
Raise your hands.
That's actually a ton of people these days.
These days.
Hey, that's what didn't you pick me that one time?
There's only 4 people then?
We did the moons before they departed.
Yeah, did everyone but Elisa.
Can we do another poem?
And then police or something.
Do we have like religion?
Doesn't reach out to me yet. Huh?
Can we fit another poem in today?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it. Because we got a good start. So.
Yeah, we can do Naomi's.
Corbin was ahead.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Find your song and play it if you want, maybe.
I'll send it to you.
Window, light, or necessary escape?
That one.
Oh, this
That's like it.
Yeah.
yes. Gonna have to read this one fast.
Oh my goodness, you have a ... That's tough. Is that like a pause for the song?
So what song is it?
I'm sending it to you.
Naomi?
You'll see.
That's what I did. I just did music notes.
I'm scared because, ooh, this thing's tiny. Just like,
See, yeah.
Yeah, this song is very fast paced.
Three, two, one, go.
wait, whoa. Man, what?
Okay, let me know.
Okay, you need to restart.
Okay, it's restarted.
Okay, ready? The moment was still. My heart was racing from the inner storm of doubt. No longer will I let this fear take control. So I just closed my eyes to exhale, with a quiet undoing. It is well with my soul to feel this pain of uncertainty, to not understand, to lay aside my own way, to trust. I felt the warm tears roll down my cheeks. These emotions released a freedom, a necessary longing. I want something real. I desire something more, something pure. So, I release myself again to a grace built within.
Very good. This is not the song I thought it was. Sorry. But it works really well.
Oh, it was
Might be different. What song is version? I thought there was a necessary escape by M83.
it is.
So I guess this is a different version of.
This is part.
There's
Oh, it's
there's two
parts of it.
Yeah.
It's like a really fast-paced version. Yeah.
You did the timing well.
I like the shift that it takes right after to feel this pain and then to not understand, and then it continues to change. It kind of reminds me of what we were talking about this morning with the change of the mindsets to become to be faced towards something greater than ourselves.
This is a really impactful poem to me. I really like it, especially the part where it kind of there's two things going on. There's a release and then also an acceptance of this longing that you have, and those go together a lot more than sometimes I think they do. Like it sounds like they might contradict, but they actually go together. If you it's a certain kind of embracing and acceptance that releases, but still sees things for as they are, because we do have things that we long for, but in that we can still exhale and to be all right with not understanding, and to be all right with wanting something more at the same time.
The imagery I'm getting with that, which is basically what Naomi's illustrating here with the song, by the way, is the contradiction of exhaling and inhaling. So releasing and also longing for or taking something in. And I feel like the song is breathing, actually. It sounds like it's breathing.
It's really cool.
So this would be the inhale, maybe. It's bright like that, and then when it dims again, it's like the exhale comes. And she does that, I think, almost unintentionally with the way that she switches up the title of the poem and the line that sounds like the title of the poem but isn't quite.
Yeah.
So a necessary escape is like the exhale, and then she says towards the bottom, a necessary longing, which is like the inhale. It's kind of cool. Esther, Eddie, Anna, Isaac.
I think I'm not any of the people who listen. I would just come across as like self-centered when I always like share something about myself when it resonates with poems, but I feel like that's the only thing I have to offer that's of any value is personal experience. But I mean, I've had pretty much this exact experience that you've listed, and I think that's what I really appreciate about it, is that there's a congruency there that to me proves its genuineness in you writing it. I think very often you can just be so full of stuff, and I know we often, it's like talked about how like crying, the act of it literally is a psychological benefit to you, because it's actually like your body physically is able to release a lot of those stress hormones, and you actually feel lighter afterwards. And that's something I've always, I actually am always very happy when I'm able to cry, because it's very rare for me. It's very difficult for me to do. And thanks. And it's I don't know. It's always something I kind of wish could happen for me in a moment where I'm feeling a lot of inner turmoil and such. And I mean, in a way, crying very much is a release. And I remember a couple weeks ago, I think at this point, I was praying before bed, and there was just a lot of stuff on my heart. My dad had just started up the wood business, and that brings a whole new can of uncertainties. I think actually that was the night before I was taking my mom in for her surgery, and not only my worry for her, but also just I know my emotional state really struggles when she goes through those things. And so I just had a lot of stuff built up within me. And I remember, normally when I pray, it's a lot more outwardly focused, but I remember I couldn't think of anything else at the time. And so I just prayed for release, because it was all encompassing, this turmoil. And I remember as I prayed that, I just started wailing in my bed, and how much relief that brought me. And I think not just because of the crying, because of just the ability to lay those things onto him. They don't go away. My mom still had to go into surgery the next day. We still don't know what the finances will look like with my dad's business, and I still have all the things in my personal life, but being able to share that with him, being able to have the certainty, not that things will go the way I want them to, but that things will go the way that he has designed them to. There's just a giant release of pressure there. And I don't know in what headspace or through what burdens you had this experience, but regardless of that, I feel the congruency of heart there, that relief. And for me, that is what that longing is, that longing to be able to let go of those things. And so that's my personal gratitude for you writing this, just because you reminded me of that, and that makes me happy to remember.
Yeah, like, thank you for sharing that. Like what Noah said about the inhale and exhale, because for some reason I wasn't even really thinking about that one. But it just actually makes so much sense when it comes to trusting. Because sometimes you really have to just exhale all that buildup and just breathe. Because you can be so, like, stuck on certain things and overwhelmed by uncertainty and all this stuff. And really, you just need to exhale and give it to the Lord. And, I mean, who else can we trust with that kind of, with everything in our heart and in our mind is the Lord. And once we can really, truly learn to do that, which we're all still learning, there's there's just a peace that I can't explain. When you're able to just trust the Lord. And it's put very simple, but I think it really is a heart posture to have towards our Father, because He is good and He is sovereign, and I don't know, oh my God, I'm at a loss of words, but there's just those moments where you can just give it to Him and trust Him, because He knows us. He knows our heart more than we do, more than anyone else. It just brings us closer to the Lord. And we trust Him with our life.
What you were saying with like you didn't even realize it. I find it a lot in my poetry, or in the poetry that I think turns out the best is when I don't, like, the meaning behind it actually comes later, or some of the meaning, like I'll have something intended for it, or maybe I won't, but more of its meaning comes after I've written it. I just think that's so interesting how some of this poetry works like that. But it happens with some of my favorite poems.
Yeah, this was one of those poems where I was working on a certain aspect of it for a long time, and then I just completely redid it and just sat and was like, okay, what is real right now?
That's very relatable.
And I was like, okay, and it just all flowed out. So.
Yeah.
That's happened to me before.
That flow state where it's like, I had an idea of what I wanted to write, and then I listened to the song a little too long and something else happened.
Yeah.
I think it's very funny. I think at least everybody that I've talked to in length about the process of writing their poems, there was a lot of like an initial concept. They're like, I actually don't like this, and then rewriting it. That's what Benji had happen. That's in part what I did. Isaac did that a lot.
Yeah, writing poetry is very rarely as straightforward. It kind of just happens to you rather than it's something you like build according to instruction, if that makes sense.
Well, sure. I think it's funny. There was a lot of like an initial concept and then a complete redoing of that. So, just with a lot of people this time around.
know it's not a very popular or common subject, but just on the matter of emotional release, it's just interesting how you can learn to process things in such a way in order to release them. So one that I thought of is like irritation or anger. The way when I've experienced that most strongly, it's that nothing in particular. So it's like something invisible is causing you to be upset. Like your mind can think of all these different excuses and causes of it, but none of them really seem valid at the end of the day, but you still feel upset for some reason. So in a way, it does feel like almost completely like you're able to describe it completely as a matter of chemicals in your brain, which seems like a really base way to explain it. But it's honestly funny how just like eating when you're hungry can change that state of mind for you. But what I was going to say is another thing that there are actually two ways in which release, I think, tends to happen most often if you're able to process things in a mature way. And one definitely is through crying. I could relate very much to what Jade was describing and what you're also describing in your poem. And another funny one is like it's laughter, I guess, which doesn't and laughter is not the right word because it doesn't always show up as you like just all of a sudden laughing a bunch. I just thought what you were talking about on Sunday. that one meme. You guys know, like a reel where that girl, that animation of that girl laying in her room and she just starts laughing at the ceiling. out of nowhere. You know what I'm talking about? Anyways, it doesn't always present itself through physically laughing, but for me it's also kind of been like a realization hits me the release comes when I kind of just shake my head or roll my eyes at myself, but in like a really good-natured way, like, oh, okay. And I don't even have to like understand everything super comprehensively. It's just
reflects.
Yeah, you work through some disturbance in yourself, like whether it's an anger thing or you're anxious about something or you're really sad about something, and when that release through either humor or crying, it's able to come. That's kind of like what you are going for eventually, and or at least that's how it eventually breaks out. It's really interesting how humans work like that. And it's really cool to be able to become better at understanding each other in that too. So it's not like we're trying to get someone to start crying or get someone to laugh, but we're helping. It's really interesting to learn to help someone process something in themselves. So you don't want to figure out something for someone else. You want them to. I guess I'm talking a little bit about emotional intelligence right now, but that's a really good thing to learn. You don't want to simply be someone that understands yourself really well. You want to be able to understand and help other people through things. But much of that comes from understanding yourself first. So.
You won't be able to understand yourself without others.
And the other way around too. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Does anyone have anything else?
I gotta reread. Same as Jaden saying, I'm gonna have to share my own experience to express it, whatever I'm trying to say. But like only a year ago, this would have all been gibberish to me. I wouldn't have understood anything. Because like I can get it now, but not with fluidly what this is expressing. But it feels like I took a turn too fast on the highway when I do it. Like this is new to me. And a good example is like, I feel like Naomi, you expressed, I can't see you from here. You expressed some of this when we first talked in the restaurant, where I hit a point where I was like, I didn't really know my place in the restaurant. I talked with you and Benji, had a long talk. And that whole conversation, I had basically come to the conclusion like, they're gonna fire me after this. This is me expressing why I am not these people. But you expressed, you prayed for me. And you said I was, I think motivational was the word. And like, this poem is a good expression of like, this is exactly what I could not understand for the life of me. I simply did not know this frame of reference in life. I didn't know like the tension release of crying, or if I got mad, it was important to me like, I can't slip up, I can't like break anything, I can't afford anything. So I just would hold on to everything. But now I more understand this. Before, my only release was eventually I'd get tired of myself. And it'd be like, I'm kind of bored being angry all the time. And then it'd go to being like, hey, scared all the time. But now I get this, the uncertainty, and the line is to set it aside and trust. I couldn't do that before. And I know that to you guys, so I appreciate that a lot. But still, it feels like taking a turn a little too fast on the road. Like, this was not how any of the wires in my head go. But now I have some. I need to strengthen that slowly.
I think you've come a pretty long way. I appreciate you sharing it.
Just as Ian said, I never want to make it about me, but I only know it through myself.
Well, I wouldn't really think any of us are not sharing from personal experience here.
Sure.
And part of what y'all were saying earlier with seeing things in your home that you didn't see before, I mean, that's part of what we want when we're reading together in this time, so. Did you want to say anything more about your poem, or? Okay, we have 3 people left.